The day my husband Ethan was laid to rest was the coldest day I could remember. The sun barely peeked through the thick gray clouds as friends and family gathered at the church to say goodbye. I stood there dressed in black, my hands trembling in my son's firm grasp. Liam, my 22-year-old son, looked every bit like his father, tall, strong, and quietly composed. But I could see the grief in his eyes. Buried under layers of stoicism, everything felt surreal. The eulogies, the choir, the sound of shovels hitting dirt, it all blended into a blur of sorrow. That night, when we returned home, the silence was deafening. Ethan's absence filled every room. I collapsed on the kitchen floor in tears, and Liam was right there, holding me together as I fell apart. In the weeks that followed, I drifted through days in a haze. The world moved on, but I couldn't. My husband had been my partner for over 2 decades. Every corner of our home was soaked in his presence, his books on the shelf, his jackets hanging by the door, his favorite coffee mug still in the cabinet. Friends brought food, shared stories, and sent their love, but nothing made the ache go away. Liam came home every weekend. Though he had classes and responsibilities at college, he never let me be alone for long. He mowed the lawn, fixed things around the house, and helped with bills. But more than that, he gave me something I hadn't realized. I'd lost a sense of stability. Slowly, I began to lean on him more, finding comfort in his presence, his understanding, and his quiet strength. One Saturday, while organizing the attic, I discovered a sealed cardboard box labeled in Ethan's handwriting. For later, I hesitated before opening it, my heart pounding. Inside were old photographs, handwritten letters, and a worn leather-bound journal. I sat on the floor, tears rolling down my cheeks as I sifted through the memories. I called Liam upstairs. We sat there in the dusty attic reading the letters aloud. Some were addressed to me, sweet notes from our early years of marriage. Others were to Liam, letters his father had written over the years but never shared. Advice about life, love, and growing into a man. Liam cried silently as he read them, his hands shaking. It was a sacred moment, a connection across time that brought both comfort and sorrow. Reading those letters became our new ritual. Every weekend, we'd read a few more, sharing stories, laughing at Ethan's jokes, and crying when the words hit too hard. It was through those letters that we began healing, not by forgetting Ethan, but by remembering him together. As the months went on, Liam's visits became longer. Eventually, he moved into the guest room permanently. He said it was just until I felt stronger, and I didn't argue. His presence filled the empty spaces that grief had hollowed out. We started cooking dinners together, watching movies we used to enjoy as a family, and even taking walks in the park, simple things that slowly stitched our lives back together. One rainy night, after another long reading session, I found myself opening up to Liam more than ever before. I talked about my fears of being alone, of forgetting Ethan, of never feeling whole again. Liam listened patiently, his expression soft. He didn't try to fix me. He just let me speak. We sat by the fireplace afterward, the silence between us warm and comforting. He wrapped a blanket around my shoulders and told me, "You don't have to go through this alone, Mom. I'm here." That moment shifted something inside me. It wasn't just about grief anymore. It was about moving forward. And that realization was both terrifying and liberating. The next day, I walked into the hallway closet and pulled out Ethan's favorite winter coat, the one he wore every year, no matter how tattered it had become. Holding it in my arms felt like holding him again. I cried as I clutched it to my chest, then took it outside to the backyard fire pit. Liam followed, not saying a word. "I need to let go," I whispered. He nodded, standing beside me as I laid the coat into the flames. We watched it burn together, a symbolic goodbye, not just to Ethan, but to the life that could no longer be. I didn't expect the overwhelming sense of release that followed. I felt lighter. That same evening, I did something impulsive. I booked a trip to Italy. Ethan and I had always talked about going, but we kept putting it off. There was always work, bills, or something else in the way. "No more waiting," I told Liam. He was surprised, even excited. "You're really going?" Yes. I smiled. And I want you to come with me. We left a few weeks later. For the first time in what felt like forever, I packed a suitcase not out of obligation, but out of hope. We explored Rome, tasted pasta in Florence, and wandered through the streets of Venice. We laughed again. We lived. I watched Liam come alive, in a way I hadn't seen since before his father passed, and I felt the same spark reignite within myself. One evening, sitting by the Grand Canal, Liam took my hand. "Dad would be proud of you," he said. I smiled, tears forming in my eyes. I think he'd be proud of us. When we returned home, life didn't magically fix itself. Grief still visited from time to time. But something had changed. I joined a local writing group and began journaling regularly. Liam got a job nearby and rented an apartment just a few blocks away. We still met for dinner every Friday. People sometimes ask what I did after my husband died. The answer surprises them. I let my son help me. I leaned into the love I still had rather than the love I lost. I chose to live again. 1 year after Ethan's passing, we held a small memorial celebration. Instead of mourning, we shared our favorite memories of him. Friends came with food, stories, and laughter. Liam read one of the last letters Ethan had written him. I read from my journal a piece I'd written about our trip to Italy and what healing looked like when it was shared. That night, after everyone had gone, Liam and I sat on the porch wrapped in a single blanket, staring up at the stars. "We made it through the storm," he said. "Yes," I replied, "and I'm finally starting to feel the sun again." Liam smiled and nudged my shoulder gently. "That's because you've always had light in you. You just needed time to remember it." I looked at my son not just as the child I raised, but as the man who helped me rebuild my life. Ethan may have been gone, but his love lived on. In the way Liam cared for me, in the memories we cherished, and in the life we dared to live again. You wouldn't believe what I did after my husband died. I let love lead me out of the darkness, and it changed everything. Every day forward became a new chapter. I began mentoring women in my grief group, sharing my story not just as a widow, but as a survivor. My voice grew stronger, my heart a little braver with each passing day. And Liam, he began writing too. Inspired by his father's letters, he started a blog about navigating grief and rebuilding identity. Thousands read his words. And I knew, without a doubt, Ethan's legacy would live on through him. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you know someone who needs this message, please share it with them too. Don't forget to like and comment.